Hi, Chris. Thanks for talking to me. You are the stream lead of the methodologies stream in the FUSE program, which is trying to realize the SE Vision 2035. So how is your professional career tied to your new role?
Thank you. Yes, my professional career has had quite a journey, I guess you could say, over the last 25 or 26 years or so, and in full employment, if you will. But the methodology stream is very close to my passion. My day job now is actually about making sure that our engineers have the tools, the processes, and the methods and data systems, if you will, available to them in their to get their work done. So from a product development perspective and systems engineering perspective, that's part of my focus.
Mm.
And so being associated and now leading the Fuse methodologies stream allows me the opportunity to just get engaged with, or I should say stay
Mm.
engaged with all of the awesome work that our systems engineering community and beyond is doing in this
Yeah.
area.
And you said like 25 to 35 years. So what are the biggest changes you noticed in systems engineering?
Thank you. I would say the biggest changes that I've noticed in systems engineering has been moving from really if I may, the documents to models
Yeah.
journey. For even as far along as that's part of it, I guess you could say, in terms of we would do design reviews, we would have decision events that are focused on documents,
Mm.
and we would get together in a room with all of the chief engineers, if you will, and all of the decision makers for promoting the maturity of a design of a product or a system from and we would review PowerPoint slides
Yeah.
and documents and paper copies of
Mm.
things or summaries of large tests. But now it's more focused on we still get into the room,
Mm.
we still have the
Yeah.
conversation, but it's now opening up a system,
Mm.
um, looking at requirements from a database,
Yeah.
rendering models and analysis in real time and looking at it on the screen or interacting
Mm.
if it in the more digital space, if you will. And so I would say that's a major shift.
Yeah.
The next one I would say is looking more at um, those decision
Mm.
events, not necessarily within one system.
Mm.
It takes many, many, many different systems of record, if you
Yeah.
will, and that is a shift that has happened over the last
Mm.
several years. Is we no longer see, we no longer pretend, I should say, that you can do everything in one
Mm.
system.
All right.
And that's the reality is that we have to do things with multiple systems, have them talk to
Mm.
each other, and that's actually quite a challenge.
All right. And why, in your point of view, would systems engineering help with those challenges?
Part of the opportunity that systems engineering brings to this field of interest is that we are almost the Rosetta Stone
Yeah.
between many domains that are absolutely necessary to solve the
Mm.
problems that we see in front of us. I work with IT professionals. I
Mm.
work with companies and vendors that
All
provide
right.
services, um, systems, and then also, of course, with our process owners and our methodology
Mm.
owners that say this is how we should do something, in what order, and why we might do
Yeah.
something a certain way. They're all coming from different domains
Mm.
of expertise. Um, the languages are different, the
Yeah.
communication styles are different, the focus of what's being improved
Mm.
from each of their areas is different. And systems engineering offers an awesome
Mm.
opportunity to just bring those groups together in a more focused
Okay.
fashion and say, as a whole, all for my entire
Mm.
enterprise, for my entire system of interest that is probably across enterprises. So now we're in the
Yeah.
systems of
Yeah.
systems approach. It's just a massive problem set that systems engineering
Mm.
has the abilities, the capabilities, the competencies, the
Mm.
skills to address.
All right. So those are all things included in the SE Vision 2035. Why do you think should industries be interested in this vision?
The Vision 2035 document is just that ability to say it tells a story.
Yeah.
And so all of those different stakeholders, if you will, that I mentioned,
Mm.
they can look at that SE Vision 2035 document and see themselves in
Mm.
that publication, in that online version. and in the paper version if you so wish. But it offers them the opportunity to read through that vision, and we can all agree on, or at least cast a
Mm.
vision to say we are all, for the most part,
Yeah.
heading in the same direction. And it gives us an opportunity to have that
Yeah.
conversation and say, oh, that's how you see yourself in that vision. Here's how I see myself in that vision.
Mm.
How might we work together to move
Okay.
forward?
Okay, thank you. One additional question. So you talked about how systems engineering changed from your beginnings to now, from digitalized items and even systems of systems. In 2035, what would be even more changes you're going to see?
I think in 2035, some of the changes that I foresee coming at us is we will have solved the data interoperability
Mm.
problem. So part of the challenges that are in front of us now are getting our information to
Mm.
be shared amongst different domains.
Mm.
There's great, really smart people working on that right now. As we move forward, I believe what we're going to end up with is less. We'll have those explicit
Mm.
relationships between information sets, if you will, between our requirements here and a validation plan over there and a risk log over there and the actual product
Okay.
solution, whether that be CAD or software or what
Mm.
have you. But then we also have all of this surrounding information
Mm.
that enhances it
Mm.
more. Reports, documentation, pictures,
Mm.
all sorts of things, videos, um, immersive simulations, and what have you. Um, but in the future, what I see there in 2035 is more reliance, and with all of the data we have,
Mm.
um, we're going to get to this point where there's so much we'll be
Okay. Yeah.
overwhelmed. And so I see that there will be improvements made to
Mm.
say, okay, well, how do we leverage artificial intelligence? How do we leverage
Mm.
machine learning? How do we leverage stuff I don't even
Yeah.
know about yet to be able to actually make that complicated set of
Mm.
information perceived as something less
Okay.
complicated? So much like
Right.
we have these wonderful computers in our pockets,
Mm.
these smartphones, I can still give that to my young child. And when they were young, they're much older now, but I can give it to a child and they
Yeah.
can pick it up and do something useful and valuable
Mm.
with it. The ecosystem behind that smartphone is massively
Mm.
complicated.
Yeah.
So how do we do the same thing with our systems engineering
Mm.
ecosystem and say, yes, there are thousands,
Mm.
hundreds of thousands, millions of relationships that we have when I ask, what do I know about that part?
Mm.
What do I know about that product
Yeah.
function? But how do I reduce that down to a simple enough interface, a simple enough
Right.
user interface, a simple enough visualization so I can answer the question I have to be able to make a better decision
Mm.
on the next product
Okay.
evolution I might be making. But how do I do that
Yeah.
simply? Because even though I've got lots of stuff back there,
Mm.
how can I not look at it
Mm.
all at the same
All
time?
right.
Because I'll just be
Yeah.
overwhelmed.
So in the scenario just painted in 2035, and the key is to make it simple and tangible. So what role is systems engineering going to play in this context?
We actually already mentioned that a little bit earlier. So
Mm.
the role that systems engineering plays in that future vision is working with all of the people that are who are going to be needed to make it
Mm.
happen. Partnering with human factors engineers, partnering with social
Mm.
scientists, partnering with, yes, the engineers, partnering with all sorts of different
Mm.
people to allow us to realize
Yeah.
that vision. And Cozy cannot do this on our
No.
own. I, as an individual contributor, cannot do this
Mm.
on my own. Um, it was wonderful to be able to work with over 150 people this week at the international
Mm.
workshop to get their perspective on
No.
it. But that was just a small sliver of the entire community that
Mm.
needs to be engaged to make this solution happen for us.
All right. Thank you so much.